Now, as we're kind of winding this up here, those are some concrete next steps, and I wanted to invite Sabrina, who is the one who's an educator and has a PhD, and who kind of knows about more how these conferences go, to kind of come in and help us really close it up in a good way.
Go.
Do your magic.
Okay. Well, I'm going to step out of my usual sort of moderator role, and I want to ask a few questions just about a couple of ideas. One of the things that Meredith brought up was the idea of a Compton Creek year. And you mentioned the importance of kind of bringing a flyer, but I think you were talking about something that wouldn't just be a single event. It would be a whole series of events. So I just want to remind everybody that Mr. Hull mentioned that in 2010, there's going to be a revision of the Compton General Plan. So maybe coming up with some synchronicity between how they are talking about the general plan, they're interested in putting a health element into the general plan, and kind of thinking about this Compton year at a whole lot of different levels, from general plan revision to youth groups to, starting with the cleanup, but doing a series of events, to documentaries, and really trying to just bring it all together at one point in time. So, anyways, that was an idea that might be useful. We heard a lot of good information today. Just wanted to kind of reflect back on that. We talked about funding a little bit. Ron Gastelum brought up some funding options that might be available. We had Dan Rosenfeld this morning kind of talking about the need for upstream detention and for greening the city and for spreading out from just the creek into the community as a whole. He was mentioning the idea that it's Compton Creek, not the Creek of Compton, that the city comes first, but I think then thinking about not just this channel, not just the soft bottom area, but sort of maybe getting back to that watershed idea, or throughout the city, bringing a lot of these different efforts together. As I mentioned, Barry Cole brought up the idea brought up the fact that there's going to be a revision of the master plan, and that's going to involve a health element. And I think Shamika, you mentioned the idea of, you're interested in Compton Creek, and Allison brought up the idea of making things relevant to people. Well, health is going to be one of those key drivers to making all of these issues relevant. So I think that's a great opportunity.
Actually, I'm currently engaged in that process.
Right.
To help other people.
Right. So I think what I was saying was, how do we tie some of these other events and these other interests? I mean, there's all this stuff going on, so that's a good key to making people realize that the creek is relevant to them because it's got this link to their health, to everyday needs. And we just heard a lot of great ideas today. It's not really up to me to determine the next steps. Your next step, everybody here, your next step immediately is to fill out your survey form. If you haven't done so already, give that back to us. But I think just building on the kind of ideas, and I think that was a great idea to try to reactivate the Friends of Compton Creek around this event that you've already got planned. And that's about it.